Sup, you Eurovision fools? Matt, ESC United, your favorite Eurovision channel, and it's time for yet another episode of Mattitude, the Eurovision ESC United live stream, basically, where we talk about, you guessed it, I said it already 15 times, Eurovision, and guess what? We are 7 days away from the big, well, not the big, but the very first rehearsal, which in my view is basically big. So I am here to talk it all through with you, what's to expect over the next week and for the 2 weeks coming up in Turin, and how this all going to pan out, where we come into play, and of course, answer your questions, because that is how it works. And as always, I always appreciate your support. If you have not done so, please like this video and every video that you see on ESC United. The algorithm really appreciates that and keeps somewhere relevant, and so that's always appreciated. We also, of course, have premium member support if you want to become a member here on YouTube with special access. That's appreciated, but we understand that's not always a possibility. So by sharing our videos, that already goes a very long way. Any questions in the chat? Always the easiest way is to just put at ESC United, so I know you're talking to us directly. And super chats, if you want to support us as well, you can. They will always be answered first, of course. But of course, for now, this is where we're at. Are you guys excited? I can see Holly is already saying, I'm excited for rehearsals to start next week. Well, I think we all are. It is also very different, or quite different this year. And I briefly talked about that in previous live streams, as well as on social media. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, Matt ESC United, you get the scoop and my true feelings. And I'm trying to be as honest as humanly possible. And of course, there is now this new TikTok that is coming into play, which I posted yesterday. I'm actually now Grandpa Matt, who had to watch a YouTube tutorial on how to use it. It was like a 15-minute thing. And so I'll start using that as well. But that is basically where I'm at right now. And you said you love my new backdrop. Thank you very much. In case you didn't know, I just bought a new place a couple of months ago, and this is my living room. As you can see, there's a piano to my side. We had some Easter decoration that is still staying on there for the end until the end of the month, because I don't want to remove it. And we're still in the moving in process. You can see there's this one entertainment center to my left, which is your right, I guess, that it still needs to be drilled into the wall, which we haven't done so already because we cannot find our drill. It's somewhere. We got a small one, but we can't figure out where the big one is. So we don't want to buy a new one. It's somewhere in one of those boxes that we still have to unpack. But yeah, this is my new home, and I love it. It's in the mountains somewhere, mountain-ish area, I should say, of Los Angeles. So I'm quite happy. But anyway, this is not about where I live, but it's about Eurovision, because the event is not far out. I am leaving. Well, my journey starts exactly in 1 week as well, but I explained to you exactly how it's all going to pan out. Someone's already asking in the chat, when are you coming to Italy? Well, don't steal my thunder. I was just about to talk about that. But before I do that and give you, first, I want to talk about the news, what happened over the last week. Then I'll talk about the situation with ESC United. And then we, of course, answer your questions. You can throw them in there if they're relevant as well. And I try to squeeze them in as well, including who's going to be in Italy and who is going to be local and all of that stuff. So let's talk a little bit about what happened over the last week, or at least like some of the highlights. It's all about, the pre-parties, promotion, interviews, of course. But it is kind of crazy to imagine that the preparations for the rehearsals in Turin are in full force. And for us Eurovision fans, very exciting times. Now, earlier this month, crews from all over, they began the construction on the stage in the Pala Olimpico arena, and setting up the rigging for the lights, the stage floor, the green room, and more. There's a lot of work. The press center, it's a lot of work. However, now over the last few days, we got a lot more information about festivities across Turin. as well as postcard locations, partnerships, rehearsal schedules, Euro Club, blah, blah, blah. Let's go for them real quickly. We compiled here just a quick list of things to look out for, and then we can go through that. First of all, the rehearsal schedule for Eurovision is out. Something very important to all of us, and it's customary that the artist will have a total of 5 rehearsals. And the live shows beginning on May 10th and 12th, which are the semifinals. Now, in case you're tuning in for the rehearsals for the first time or you need a refresher, let's just summarize it real quick. So, starting Saturday, next Saturday, a week from today, that's why we're having this celebration. Each artist in the semis will have 30 minutes to rehearse. And that starts from April the 30th through May 4th. 30 minutes. And we will be allowed, I'm not rehearsing, but they will be allowed to run their performance as many times during that set. In most cases, though, I'll say it's about 3 times they do it. And then they will not be shown to the press. And that is the first time since I've been doing it, ever actually in Eurovision, I think, where the press doesn't have access to that. And I'll talk more about that in terms of what kind of exposure there is and how we come into play and all of that. But I first want to give you the news. So that's how the first rehearsals work. And to give you even more details, if you don't know, so 30 minutes. So Albania is the first country to rehearse on Saturday at 10 a.m. local time, right? So Albania takes the stage, and they already have stand-in rehearsals probably right now, or they're just about to start. I don't know the exact timeline on that. So they already have a good idea what it looks like and where to stand and all of that stuff. So Albania, she comes in, and Miss Albania, and she will do her performance, her rehearsal once. 3 minutes, right? That takes 3 minutes. And then once she's done it once, the team, the producers, the delegations, they're all going to come together and review that rehearsal. So they usually take like 10 minutes to talk about it and maybe make some adjustments. So 3 minutes of rehearsing and 10 minutes of discussion, and then she has probably another 15 minutes or so to have like a few more run-throughs, and usually they get 2 more in. Sometimes on rare occasions I see actually a total of 4 rehearsals, and sometimes if things take a long time you only get 2. And those are often the ones that have more elaborate staging and things don't come together. One comes to mind, I remember in Moldova, 2019, I think, right, when the Sand Lady returns, there were plenty of technical difficulties. So she had hardly any rehearsals. And I think Estonia with Storm and the effects, there were also issues. So that kind of stuff can happen. And then they will actually only do it twice. And some people in the chat are talking about TikTok. I'll go about that in just a moment as well. And then, so they're all going to do it once, right? For the first 4 days, the semifinalists. And then the second rehearsals will start on May 4th, which is a Wednesday. So the Wednesday, then they will only have 20 minutes to rehearse, but they already have figured out a lot of things. Once again, it goes a little faster. And you usually have like 3 to 4 run-throughs there as well. Sometimes 2 if you're slow, but usually that's how it works. 3 is the average, I would say. So they had like 6 or 7 individual rehearsals each country. And these rehearsals will be streamed in the online press room as well as in the on-site press room where we can watch it. But before you get too excited, we are not allowed to live stream or record the screens or the performances in the arena completely. So you will unfortunately not be able to see the whole thing, but you get like about a 30-second snippet from the performance, which is already something to be excited about. But we will be live streaming from the arena and give you the breakdown, our thoughts and insight. So it's going to be a very interesting experience about that as well. So that's when we will be allowed to be in the arena. Now, the final 3 rehearsals are dress rehearsals of the show, and they happen then the second week. So Sunday is the opening ceremony where the red carpet or green carpet or purple carpet or whatever carpet color they feel like doing this year. They on Monday morning, Monday early afternoon, I should say, they're going to have the first dress rehearsal for the semifinal, where they're going to do basically the whole show, and there will be little breaks in between here and there, and that will be on Monday afternoon. Then Monday evening is the second dress rehearsal for semi 1, which then will be also the jury show. So 50%, half of the votes will be decided that night. So everyone will bring their A game, at least in terms of singing and performing. Everything else will be just, like still testing things out. Then Tuesday afternoon, they'll have the third dress rehearsals, often referred to as the family show. That means often families of the artists, they can attend this one. A lot of schools will be there and that kind of stuff, discounted tickets for locals, that kind of stuff. So that'll be another show. There will be no judging. I think that's truly just a good old fashioned dress rehearsal. And then Tuesday night will be the actual live show that everyone gets to see. Then we repeat the same thing Wednesday for the other semifinal, and then for the finals Friday and Saturday. So that is basically how this will all pan out. So now you're asking, in previous years, we all had access to the first rehearsals, which now for the very first time, we cannot get in. The press center is not open to the press. So nobody will be in there except for the staff and some TikTok folks. The EBU has a special agreement with TikTok, and they brought in all these TikTok influencers, I guess, who have exclusive access. So nobody from the Eurovision realms here is able to go into the system. They're just going to have people and exposure on the Eurovision TikTok page where they have, I think it was like 90-second snippets, which includes the artist arriving, them rehearsing, and then as well their interviews afterwards. So you get we all, that includes me, we'll get very short ideas on what's going on, but nobody will be able to see anything else. This is as much we can get. And so, yes, access will be limited. It's all promotional for the TikTok. And of course, the Eurovision community, diehard community, took a big hit here because most of us will not be able, not just have access to it, like even those that are there locally, they will not have access. So we're going to have 4 days less of access. There's significantly online access, and the fan media has been, I wouldn't say eradicated, but certainly very much pulled back for that reason. So it's all about the promotional, and they're trying to reach a new generation of fans by doing that. And in that process, kind of neglecting everybody else. I have very strong opinions about that, which I previously voiced. So that is unfortunate. But yeah, so if you want to actually see those clips, you need to be on TikTok. I'm sure somebody will download them, put them elsewhere maybe, but they have an exclusive agreement for the first 24 hours. There will only be content on TikTok. So very, very, what's the right word I should say? Very hardcore promotion for TikTok, because a lot of people have no other choice, myself included, to get that app. I tweeted yesterday actually about me watching a tutorial on how to use TikTok because I never have. And I don't blame if people don't do it. I kind of have to. So I guess there's going to be ES United TikTok content now. Who would have thought? So it is very interesting. So that is the process. That means there is technically no need for us to be on site. So the first until Tuesday, because we don't even have access. And unfortunately, I've talked about before, in case you didn't know, we only have one person with on-site access this year. The EBU is very strict, didn't give anyone access. It's not just affecting ESC United, it affects every Eurovision focused media. They virtually have no access. Very, very difficult. We got one on-site, one online access, and then we're also collaborating with one of our folks. So we have a little bit of online access, but I am going to be the only person from ESC United allowed in the actual press center in Turin. So I have a lot of work to do. So that was a big shocker. It was very discouraging. It was very disappointing. And yeah, our coverage certainly will change a lot. The good news is I have the best team in the world. No offense towards anybody else, but my team decided, even though they were rejected for press, they're still going to be in Turin. I have a bunch of folks who still want to go cover the event and do everything outside of the press center for you. So even though I will be the only one in the arena as well at some point, I have the following people going to be at least to a certain extent in Turin. So people will join me. The first one to arrive is actually Melanie. Melanie, you remember from last year, she is back. She'll be arriving the Saturday of when the rehearsals start. Even though we cannot get in, she will do on-site coverage and whatnot. And we'll have live streams as well to talk about the results, of course. So don't worry, we're still going to do live streams, but it's going to be a little different. So she will be the first. Then Roy and I will arrive next because my journey is a long journey coming from LA all the way to Turin. Here, that is that's quite a journey because there's no easy way to get it. So I'm flying from Los Angeles, where I live, flying to New York, spend the night in New York, then fly from New York to Milan, and then get from Milan to Turin. So I'm leaving Saturday morning, my morning, to New York, spend the night there, leave the next day, and arrive in Italy on Monday. So I'll be there Monday as well as Roy. Roy and I will arrive Monday. And then Sean will arrive a few days later. So Sean will be there as well. Again, not the whole time. So we will still be there and we do a lot of coverage because there are all these venues that we can still go to, artists. So there will be a lot more outside of the press center coverage, which in some ways maybe is more creative and we come up with cool things, but it's going to be different. It is going to be different a little bit because now I'm the only one doing the on-site coverage. Therefore, I cannot be always, especially during the second round of rehearsals, always be on camera because I have to be in the arena and get content in there. So Roy will be heavily in the live streams. We have Connor, we have Melanie, and Sean, of course, helping out as much as possible, and maybe some guests as well throughout that time. So there will be a lot more tag teaming this time around for that reason, because I'll be running myself crazy in the press center. Because again, one person sitting alone at my desk. I'm like, I have friends there, of course, that I made over the years. So I'm not going to be completely alone. So it's not going to be that bad. But that is basically how it'll work. Now, the specifics on the coverage, more to come, because, this is work in progress, of course. Lee Fern is asking, why is it so strict this year with accreditation? I don't understand. Well, we don't all completely understand it to a full extent, but as I mentioned, it's all about the tight partnership between the EBU and the TikTok folks. So that they give them, we're going to promote you. You're going to get exposure, probably a lot of catching. And therefore, we want exclusive access. And everybody else was kind of the sacrificial lamb in the process. So we're all kind of out, and I don't know if this is going to stay, if it's a 1 year off, I don't know. I don't want to be negative, and I don't want to be as, sour person. But in some ways, I'm almost hoping this will flop their approach, just because maybe they've then realized what the community has brought to the contest for so many years. So that is secretly my hoping. At the same time, of course, I don't want the artists and their exposure to suffer either. But that is certainly what's going on, because it sucks for none of my folks who are hardworking and provide a lot of coverage and a lot of insight, that they can no longer actually get the exposure. And my folks, they don't really care about when I say they don't care about the art, it's like, oh, meeting the famous people, get an autograph and a picture and leave. They work hard. And I understand that there were some people who didn't, and that should have been addressed on a case-by-case basis. But just cutting everyone out and really disregarding the fan community. Not just that they did that, they gave us no heads up, right? They refused to answer our emails. They did not communicate with us and just said nothing, nada. And it was very, very hard for us. And especially since we've been doing it for so many years, decades in some cases, that the lack of honesty there and transparency really hurt a lot of people. And it creates a certain animosity, not just towards the EBU, but also amongst each other, because then jealousy comes into play for the few. I've got jealousy thrown at me because I got access. And then some people have gotten access for 30 years, no longer do. And they were upset with me. And I'm like, why are you upset with me? I didn't do anything. I'm equally upset because nobody else on my team can go. So I do believe somebody's asking, Julie Frost is asking, have you heard any good reasons why they are ruining it for us fans? Good reason is subjective, of course, but I do believe that they are trying to reach a new generation of fans, right? Which is the TikTok generation, which on the average, I think is younger than any other social media because it's also a newer platform. Yeah, it's been around, what, for five, no more, over 5 years. It's really growing and growing more and more. So they want to definitely reach that audience. And I don't know if this also has to do with the recent change in leadership, that they have a more cutthroat approach. I don't know. As you can see, all I'm doing is making assumptions, and that is always a very dangerous territory to enter it. All I can go by is the lack of communication and transparency and this dismissal that we feel. And yeah, that is just unfortunate. It just feels like that TikTok is the main priority of Eurovision. Core HFI is asking of Eurovision, and it's sad because the core and main fans keep the spark of the Eurovision online, whilst the TikTok fans base is small. Well, I think it's not just that the Eurovision TikTok fan base is slowly growing, I think, but they're not even the focus is not on the diehard Eurovision fans, because I think they believe that we're going to be around no matter what. So they don't need to reach us. They need to reach people that they have not reached out before. And I don't know, it'll backfire or not. And may be very successful. Because let's be real, we're all gonna go. We're all gonna do it. Do you know what I mean? Now they're gonna lose some fans in the process. Yes, they've lost a lot of diehard fans through this, but I do believe that they think they will easily make up for it with the new folks that they are hiring. And I'm getting more stuck on this longer than I thought it was. And this is probably, I should do a podcast I really write down all of my thoughts on this, because there is so much. I do think that they just have a different approach. They're going down the, you know, in-depth, detailed coverage is no longer really a thing. The snippet, the short things, just, they are working with people, short patient span, all of that stuff. So that is, I think, what their approach is. So anyways, we can get back to this in just a moment. This is just what it is right now. So there was no reason for me to be there early and spend all that money on a hotel if, I don't make a living off of this, so I don't have that kind of money. So yes, I decided to change my flight and come in during the rehearsal period of the first one, and then just spend less than 2 weeks in Turin, because usually it was like 2.5 weeks. Now I get there like only like 10 days. But hey, that's just what they want, so they get less coverage. And they believe that TikTok will make up for it. But anyways, so that is what is up with the rehearsals right now. They also started already in February, by the way, with the postcard filming in a variety of places across Italy. And again, COVID was still and is still a thing, and concerns related to Omicron. They opted to do the same method as they did with the Netherlands last year, where they're going to do local shots, but the artist will be chroma keyed into the postcards. And so even though they're not going to be physically, they're going to be there, in that manner. There are a lot of locations that they've been to that a lot of them I don't even ever heard of, but it's all over the country. And I think that is the beautiful part. I like the part of the country kind of showcasing their beauty, and then also bring in the same time the artists and introduce them to the folks. So that is all in the works. Also very important, mostly for the people locally, but even for our coverage, that is helpful. We got some updates on the Euro Club 22. And last year, we didn't have any of that in Rotterdam because of COVID. The rules were so strict, there was just no such thing. So the Euro Club will return this year to the Eurovision experience, and it's going to be different, because rather than having a central location, the city of Turin has planned, because there used to be one big venue where it all goes down. They planned 10, not just 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 different locations for the party all over town. These venues will not be restricted to the fans or the press. It's open to everyone in need of a little fun. The city has confirmed that accreditation holders will get a discount, but we no longer get in for free either. So we'll have to see if that's in our budget. If it's too expensive, we cannot pay for 10 different venues either. So that is unfortunate. 10% discount, that's not a whole lot. So we'll have to see which one we're going to go to and which we can't. So that's all. But there are 10 places. Some of them are club spaces, some of them are coffee bars and restaurants as well. So there will, I'm sure, some performances of artists, depending on how big they are. We don't have an exact calendar yet. That is all still to be determined. What I do like is the inclusion of fans, because before it felt very exclusive. While it's nice for us press people, we have our own exclusive venue where only the press people, the delegations, and some fan accredited folks can in there and the acts. I do like that people can come together like this. So that idea I like. Just having 10 locations, I get the idea. That's very, very difficult. People being spread out like that. If they could have done like 2 or 3 venues, I think that would have worked better in my view. But it's all about promotion, I guess. So but in case how these venues will work, the city has guaranteed that each space will have offer an opportunity to relax and unwind or light up the dance floor with your favorite Eurovision hits. Very important. In the past, as I said, many venues have been used for delegations to host special concerts, meet and greets, so you get the chance to see your favorite artist live and in person as well. It's just not going to be as grand as well what we've had in the past, but at least everyone has access, and that to me is a good thing. I've always been a big promoter of letting people in. In the past, certain countries, certain events, they allowed also just regular fans that had no accreditation in as well, but it was a limited space. You had like 50 people a night or something like that, so it wasn't a whole lot. And the venues will start opening on April the 30th. I won't even be there until the day after, up until the very end, May 14th. And times may vary for each space. So that's going to be a little bit more tricky to keep track of it, but we will do our best to cover that as well. I see a lot of questions about TikTok on there, and let me just tell you, I will tell you in a moment exactly what a little bit more about that as well. I'm going to read the official statements as well. But just real quick, we also have some more information about interval acts. And I am stoked that Diodato will finally be on the Eurovision stage as one of the interval acts. In case you know who that is, he won Sanremo in 2020 and was slated to represent Italy with Fire Amore, and Eurovision was canceled. And therefore, he never had the opportunity or the privilege to represent his country on the big stage. And now at least he gets to perform, even though he's not in the competition, he still gets to perform the song in the first semifinal. And I think that is wonderful. And it's a beautiful song anyway. So I'm glad, even though it's not in the same kind of setup, he still gets to do Eurovision. So I am stoked. I was kind of hoping and expecting that to a certain extent. So that is great. And there were other announcements we've made that Dardust, Benny Benassi, Sophie, and the Giants will be band together for a celebration of the 1970s Italio disco music titled The Dance of Beauty. And so there is going to be a lot of stuff happening, and at least stuff to get for us to get excited about. So Julie is saying, I'm so sad that I didn't get tickets. The event at some of my favorite Italian places like Ely. I'm sorry to hear about that, Jude, that you didn't get any tickets for the actual event. I know that they're sold out like within 2 seconds. Even like all the family shows went just as quick because usually there are tickets available. I guess not this year. Also, the difference is though, I think there's still limited capacity. I don't know. So yeah, it sucks this time around. I'm so disappointed and upset with the approach to TikTok that is so horrible and unfair. The fan community certainly doesn't look thrilled, myself included, but again, that's not how the EBU looks at it. I think they look bigger picture. They think we'll get over it, and ultimately it will be a plus, not a negative. But just I'm going to read you something real quick. It's been almost a week now since it has been released. The official entertainment partner of Eurovision 22, TikTok. And they said they are delighted to announce TikTok as the official entertainment partner for the contest, placing the TikTok's global community of 1 billion at the heart of the event. And Martin Osterdahl, the current executive supervisor, said, we're delighted to be making TikTok the official entertainment partner of the 22 Eurovision Song Contest, working closely to create an even more exclusive and engaging content. TikTok community really embraced the Eurovision Song Contest last year, and now we're looking forward to giving them unprecedented access, hear that, to the world's largest living music event and inspiring a whole new generation of fans. That is the hope. And when you read through the language, it means we want to make money off of TikTok, and this is basically what it is. And here's the thing. I'm not even opposed. I think it's a good idea overall, right? The idea of getting TikTok involved as a partner is great. Did you really have to sacrifice everybody else or almost everybody else in order to make it happen? That is the thing. They get a lot of money from this. I mean, I have no official numbers, but that is such a major change. There's a lot of cash involved. So if there are less numbers for other folks because they have to bring TikTok in, I can certainly understand that to a certain extent. But making the first rehearsals exclusive to folks who have never really understood the contest, while everyone else, the experts, are being kicked out, it's a little harsh, right? And then virtually everyone, people have been doing it for decades, no notice. Why did you have to do that? And even if they're saying, you know what, there is just very limited on-site access, fine. Then why is no one getting online access? Even that is so limited right now. And so I have a hard time accepting that it's all just TikTok causing this. The EBU has a different approach, and I mean, I have no other way but to accept it because they set the rules. They can allow who can get in and who can get not. At the same time, you know, there could be a gradual approach and at least open dialogue and communication. And that is what hurts the most. So that is a little harsh. As I said, I think the idea is that this will all, it's not going to bubble up. People going to like it and they're going to get more people. And ultimately, it's worth it. So, and people are saying they're hoping it's only for a year. Well, I wish I would say the same thing. The EBU doesn't usually go back to things how they did it prior, right? Anytime there's a change, it's there to stay. That doesn't mean it couldn't happen because certain things did change in the past. Remember, for a few years, you were able to actually vote for a song starting at the beginning of the show. So as songs were performing, but then ultimately they got rid of it like a few years later because it just didn't make a difference. Maybe something like this will happen. To be perfectly honest, I don't see it happening. I do think that the first set of rehearsals will continue to be closed to the public and the press going forward with some exclusive access, maybe. May not even be TikTok, but will be something else because they've been trying to get that done anyways because a lot of the delegations and artists felt a lot of pressure and nervous energy, using their first time on stage, being judged by everyone in the press center, the betting odds being affected, the negative press, and all of that stuff. So it's a lot of pressure on them. So last year, for the first time, what they didn't show us the first run through, only the second and third, and now it's completely closed off. So it's becoming less and less accessible. So it's unfortunate. Some people making connections to like other events they don't have that kind of exposure. Maybe that is true, but this is not like any other event. And Eurovision always thrived with the fan community leading this event. That's why they put all the dedicated fans, front and center in like the arena where all the OG events get like really great tickets. It's also hard to get tickets, but they are just, they know that they will deliver the energy. So they understand that they're a big part of it. So, the problem is here, of course, with having a limited access or virtually no access to those events, the rehearsals, there will be limited exposure for the artists. Yes, they can do online access interviews maybe, but there will be the press conferences, the meet and greets will probably be super empty. So why? I think it's shoot in the foot, but maybe not. So I don't understand. And now he's saying, I understand not letting us watch the first rehearsals, but restricting press access is too far, in my opinion. It's very, it's kind of ironic that the EBU, who previously made statements about freedom of press and access and unlimited now all of a sudden cuts it off. The irony there didn't. It wasn't. I noticed it. Let's put it that way. I almost said something mean. No. So I totally hear you on that one. So that is basically what it is. And so, yeah, that is definitely. I see also some other random questions in there. So make sure you hold those for the end because I just want to go through the topics here as well. I'm so thirsty. It's so warm here. Many people don't remember that the approach of the first rehearsal this year, it has been done for Junior Vision 2019. Yeah, but how many people watch Junior compared to Eurovision? Do you know what I mean? So often Junior is used as the guinea pig, like the test the crash test dummies for certain things, and they implemented at Eurovision. So maybe that's what it is, and it's just what I don't know what else to add to this, only because I shared with you. That's what it is. I heard movie blocks are allowed two in the press center as opposed to one for everyone else. I have no idea. I don't know what they have. Um, so if they do, good for them. I'm jealous, happy jealous, because I want to. It would make my life so much easier. But good for them. Like if they would give me two, I'd take it as well. So, but yeah. Hmm. I'm basically thankful that I was let in because I booked everything, hotels, flights, and not realizing they would just completely get rid of that. Like if they would have done that, I would have been screwed. I would have been out of money, a lot of money, thousands of dollars. But yeah, so that is basically what's happening now. Just to go back to what you were talking about, what is in store for us from ES United? There's a lot of learning as we go kind of situation because, as pointed out, I will arrive during the first round of rehearsals because there's no need for me to be there starting Saturday. Don't have to take that much vacation time. Don't have to pay for all the room, my hotels, or my Airbnb, I should say, and all of that stuff, right? So we will still start live streaming on Saturday. It'll be more of a summary of what happened. So we talk it through with you all and see if we can get as much information behind the scenes stuff. So every evening after rehearsals have concluded, we will be live. Now, I will be on the road for the most part. On Saturday, I will probably live stream from the hotel lobby in New York. Then on day two, I probably will be still either in my hotel room or at the airport live streaming. And then the third day, I will be finally in Turin. So keep that in mind. That is where we at. Um, Sorry, my brain just went like, where was I? So yes, this is what we're gonna do for the first few days, and we'll have definitely content because, as pointed out, Melanie will be there, and she's going to try to cover as much as humanly possible there what's of relevance. But there's going to be very little activity at this point because why would we be in Turin, right? At this point, it's very very interesting. Um, Cal's actually saying they've been trying to do this in Rotterdam as well, but they couldn't organize this in time. Cal is saying that's good to know. I didn't know that they were trying that in Rotterdam. So clearly, this is the future of probably for it to stay, which then, of course, will make Eurovision. Nothing will really begin until the second round of rehearsals. So they're going to shorten the time period, even though the rehearsals are still happening. Without the access, it's going to be a whole lot less coverage, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. I can whine about it for the rest of time and not much I can do about it. So, but anyways, back to my point. So the first 4 days will be very much, we're going to have daily live streams to talk about it. The clips will be exclusive on TikTok for Eurovision, and all the TikTok influencers get unique access. Unfair, but it is just, it is what it is. So that's all we can go by for the first 24 hours at least. Then 24 hours later, I think they'll start loading stuff to other social media as well. But for the first day, it's all just on TikTok. We'll do our live coverage as much as possible. And then starting Wednesday, we will actually be able to be in the arena and have access to the second round of rehearsals. And the problem is it's only going to be me on site. Roy, Melanie, they will be in Turin at that point, but they will not be allowed inside the arena. They're only online. So therefore, they are a vital part of it. Roy will now be our guru for live streams going forward because with me being in the arena a lot, I cannot be on the live stream all the time during the second round of rehearsals. Now, during the actual dress rehearsals, the second week, different story. But during the second round for us, I need to be in the arena covering it. So I don't know if I'll be able to be on camera as much as I would like to be, but we'll have Roy, Melanie, Sean, Connor, and there are other people that'll join us as well, as much as possible, guests, hopefully. So that'll be a little different as well. I don't know how this all going to pan out. I can obviously not be in the arena and in the press center at the same time, or in the press conferences on top of it. I don't know what they were thinking, giving so little access. Oh well, it's their decision. Um, it is a very unique setup that we all still learning, and it's going to be as we go. I will probably have my phone on me a lot to random live stream where I can, and then maybe the second day, Thursday, I will be a little bit more comfortable, but Wednesday will be crazy, and then the rest will probably be just like as you knew it, the live streams, the conversations, all of that stuff. So it's just the first 4 days that'll be very different this year, and the rest we're trying to do the same thing. It's just going to be a whole lot more stressful. It's going to be a whole lot busier, and it's going to be a whole lot more expensive for us. So that is the problem. So that is what we are doing, though. So we'll do the best coverage that we can, just like everybody else, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. And I'm just excited to go back and go to Italy. This is my third time in Italy. First time for Eurovision, obviously, but I've been to like the main touristy place, Rome and Venice, but I've never been to like Turin. Right. So that is very, very exciting to explore a different area, even though it's very difficult to get to. And then we're going to do the coverage for everything else, just like we're used to. And for the first time, oh gosh, what I'm not looking forward to is Saturday, the finals, because there was no flight except Sunday morning. So I may have to leave directly from the press center to the airport, which is hours away because my flight's out of Milan, not of Turin. Fly from Milan to New York, like at 9 in the morning, or was it noon? I don't know, but I have to make my way like at 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning to the airport so I can catch my flight to New York. So it's going to be hell. Oh, ugh, I hate that. And my flight, that's not a short flight. If I had a straight flight to New York, to LA, which I don't, that would have been 11 hours. Now to New York is like what, 7 hours maybe? I probably will pass out on there. So that is what's going to happen for us. So that is very, very unique setup, but I'm excited to go anyways. And I'm yeah, I'm just go roll with the punches, I guess. And this is just a quick update on what's going to happen. We have now 1 week to prepare over the next few days, by the way. Okay, I'm saying it. I didn't want to bring it up, but it's the night of honesty. So I got sick again. So you know that I was sick for a few months this past year, and I got a little emergency room situation again this past week. So I was gone for longer than I anticipated. That's why the videos have been delayed. There were no ranking videos. There were no jury videos and all of that stuff. So good news, everyone relax. Got the green light from the doctors. I'm good to go. I'm leaving. I'm going to Turin because for a moment it looked like I was unable to go. But I can. I will. We're good. So now for the next week, all I'm going to do is with my team record our jury videos and get them up before I leave for Eurovision. So I have 40 videos to upload. Who were our favorites? And of course, everything else in between, right? So that is what we are doing. So keep an eye out who will win and how much. I mean, I've done a top 10 video, so you can maybe see who will be high up in my ranking, but there are lots of other songs I really like, and my ranking is not just completely on my taste, but the quality of the song as well. Because sometimes I like trash songs, don't we all? We need some trash. But yeah, so that's what's happening over the next week. Going to be very, very busy, and then we're going to go be there. And by the way, Connor will be again our main contact for interviews. He has done a superb job last year. I got an amazing, amazing feedback. So anything that we can do online, he will do for the most part. Do it then because I just don't have the capability of doing them myself because I'll be running around like a crazy person. So that'll be his focus. Of course, there may be some on-site interviews that either myself or Melanie will be doing. But other than that, he will be our main guy for doing that. So that is what's going to happen over the next week. And again, I will leave Saturday morning, my time. My flight, I think, is at 1 a.m. in the morning, California time, which then I arrive in New York 5.5, 6 hours later. So which is then local time, I don't know, 9 or 10. So 9 a.m. New York time. Then I have a hotel for one night by the John F. Kennedy Airport, spend the night there, and then leave the next day. I didn't want to fly into New York that day only because one delay and I'm screwed, right? So, and then I'm flying from New York to Milan on Sunday and then arrive Monday morning in Milan, take I need to look up how to get from Milan to Turin. I haven't done that yet. I know there's some buses, and then make my way from Milan to Turin, and then I'll be there on Monday, probably around noonish, 1 o'clock, something like that. So, and then I'll be there, and then we're going to talk about all the crazy stuff. So there's a lot of coverage to come. We're talking behind the scenes to the team, what we can do with the limited resources, but we'll do our best. So that is what's happened over the past week in the Eurovision world and what we are planning on doing over the next few days. And I'm sure there will be some curveballs thrown at us. I would love to hear from you, your thoughts about everything at ESC United in the chat. Of course, ask away your question. I would love to hear it. Holly Walker is saying, which acts are you most looking forward to seeing the staging? For me, it's Greece, UK, and Albania. You know, that is a very good question. I had the list open here. Okay, let me take a look at the performances. I am very much interested in Ukraine. We kind of seen their staging in, like, you know, kind of, I wonder if they're going to switch it up a little, and just the fact that there is already exciting, but I'm really curious how they're going to do it. Very interested about the Netherlands. Popular song. It's more on the darker side, how they're going to put that together. I'm very interested in that. Greece, of course, as you mentioned, I'm very interested in, because Greece always tries something with staging. It doesn't always work, but they certainly always have something up their sleeve, and you can expect something fun. I'm a little bit interested in Israel and see how they're gonna pull that off. Serbia, I'm curious to see how they put that song that's very popular, but maybe lost in translation, make it accessible to the wider audience. I'm very interested in that as well. Georgia, very interested in Georgia with that song, because that could go either way. The performance will make or break it. UK, yeah, those are probably the ones that but I'm looking forward to all of them, of course. That's the official answer. But those I particularly have a little bit more of a, what are they going to do? Usually Moldova is on my list, so I'm a little bit interested in that one as well. So I have those in mind as well. Cure HFI is asking, do you think the UK will get a lot of points in the televote? I hope they do, but due to the past, they have done a bit poor. So let's talk about this. The UK is not doing poorly in the televote because it's the UK. It's because they have not sang songs that are appealing to the public. And even those that we thought maybe, they were not performed well live. The UK does well in the televote when they send songs that the public likes. I think the last time, it's been over 10 years now, 2011. Blue, I Can, even though they only came in 11th place overall, I believe they came in 5th place with the televoters. So they can do it. The juries brought them down a lot, but the televoters really like that song. So yes, the UK can do well if the song is right. Don't blame Brexit. Don't blame any wars. Blame not yourself. It's not your fault. Blame the BBC for being unable to pick songs that just have more mass appeal. That is exactly what it is. So if you believe this is a good song, you have every chance to do well. You've seen countries that have been doing poorly for years and years and years, and they come in. Portugal, they still do not great at Eurovision for the most part, but that one year they just sent an amazing song. It won by a landslide. The UK can do the exact same thing. It's just that simple. And if Sam Ryder's song comes across well, and it's quite popular already, I can see him going really, really far, both with juries and televoters. So yes, I'm counting on the UK this time around. Left side of the scoreboard, maybe top 10. We shall see. That's why we're looking forward to the rehearsals. Ukraine will for sure win the televoting, but do you think they will do good with the juries? I am not as convinced that Ukraine will win the televote. They will be really high, but I'm not quite there yet saying they will for sure win it. I know you're referring to the sympathy vote, which is understandable in the terrible, terrible situation that's going on right now. But I'm still not convinced. I think people often overestimate the sympathy vote. I think that people often just vote for the songs that they like. Keep in mind, keep in mind, Ukraine, even before the whole war started, their song Stefania was immensely popular to begin with. So the fact that they're doing well in the betting odds, yes, this whole thing, of course, certainly helps, but that song is just very popular with fans. I love that song. It's my favorite Ukrainian song in 10 years almost. So there is a market for that song, and that's why it's also popular. So I don't want people to just say, well, they're only going to do well because of stuff. No, the song in itself objectively has a lot of fans. And that just shows, don't underestimate them. Anyways. Let's see here. More questions. EKNMS. I think there is no way Sweden is not winning the jury vote. What do you think? I think that Sweden is almost a guaranteed top 3 with the juries. I'm always skeptical about making predictions at this point with the juries, winning the juries, only because we do have a lot of jury-friendly songs this year. But I can absolutely see it happening. I have not counted out Sweden as a winner. I feel as Sweden to me it screams second or third place for some reason, but it could win. So will it win the jury vote? Maybe. Because you feel it when the staging comes together. Now we know the staging for Cornelia, right? So we know what to expect. There are other songs we just don't know what to expect. And the feel, the vocals, the vibe. And who would have thought in 2018 that Cesar Sampson would win the jury vote, right? That was like a what? Those moments you just never know. We didn't expect North Macedonia to win the jury vote in 2019, and they did. So things can happen. So, but I agree with you. I think it is there's a good shot that this to happen. Forgive me. Next question. Liam Allen Lindsay is saying, I think that they'll do well in the televote, but not so much with the jury. Stefania will finish about the same as Goa last year. Oh, Ukraine. Yes, I think that is a very fair prediction there. And as of right now, that's where I fall as well. So yeah, I'm on the same page there. Kyle Engels is saying, do you know anything about the Euro Club? I've heard there are 10 Euro Clubs this year, but I just don't get it. Kyle, where have you been? I was just talking about it 15 minutes ago. Clearly you joined, that's late. But that's fine. How dare you have a life outside of my live stream? Unforgivable. But yes, there are 10 events throughout the city of Milan, I almost said Turin, that will take place. So unlike what we had one venue previously, they're all going to be spread around the city. Now, it's not going to be it's going to be decentralized because there will be some events happening at one place and some other events at another one. So the concept is basically splitting one big venue into 10 smaller ones and actually give people the ability to access the venue. By people, I mean not just the press or the delegations, but actual fans of the contest, your average person traveling, which I think is a great idea. It's just seems very dramatic having 10 different events. How do you get from one to the other if they're on different sides of the city? So I don't know logistically how that's all going to pan out, and we cannot be at all 10 events at the same time, of course. So it makes the whole coverage thing even more difficult. But that is basically, in a nutshell, what they are trying to do. Let's take a look here. More questions. Sal Brown is saying, has ASC made more people in the USA aware of Eurovision? Could there be more people watching in the USA this year? You know what? I'm a little bit out of the loop. I watched the first 2 shows of American Song Contest, and I missed the last few 3 shows, I think, because, of my health situation. So I have no idea what songs they were and how they panned out. It just has gotten too crazy for me. So I need to catch up on it. I haven't heard a whole lot of hype yet, but also I've been a little bit away outside the bubble for American Song Contest. Connor probably knows more about it. I know that the viewing figures were okay, but they were, I don't know how much excitement there is yet. And even the people in charge, like Krista Bjorkman, he said this could take a few years to really pick up because it's such a foreign concept, something that Americans have no exposure to. Original music, they're not going to sing karaoke. So it will take it'll take some time to really get a fan base. So I can't say for sure it has taken off. I saw the term trend the other day, or the other week, I should say. Something about the jury's always picking country songs or like male ballads or something like that. So I cannot confirm or deny any of that. But yeah, that is what I know. But it's a little different because it's not a cultural event. Eurovision was not born in was born in 1956, but it didn't become this what thing in 1956. It's been around for over 60 years now. We're approaching 70 years. So I'm not saying it'll take 70 years for American Song Contest, but give it a few years. It has to grow. Give it some time. And it may or may not work, but I wouldn't look at this year's numbers and be like, this is a flop. This is a success. Give it time. If NBC will renew it for a second year, then we'll talk. But yeah, that's my thinking. And yes, Connor knows all about AS. Oh, Connor, it is you. Yes, you need to give us the rundown on this. I feel kind of bad because I really tried, but then life happened and life sucks. No, life doesn't suck, but you know what I mean. This part of it kind of sucked. What is your favorite Eurovision song-wise? Oh, my favorite Eurovision song-wise. Like my favorite Eurovision year? I was a big fan of 2019. I was a big fan of 2018. There are a lot of good years. I think since 2018, there wasn't a year I wasn't disappointed by. We had 18, 19, 20, 21, 5 years now. I think we had a good run, half a decade of a year where I didn't think it was particularly weak. Some I preferred better than others, yeah. But I don't think we had a weak year since 2017, to my taste at least. So, yeah. But over the most recent years, I would pick 2019 probably really high up on my list. But if you talk ever, go all the way back to the year 1956, because I'm a big history nerd. Even the years I wasn't around for, of course, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of 1983. 1983 was a fantastic year. Oh, 1994, amazing. So there are lots and lots of years I really, really like. Next question. What is your favorite Eurovision? Oh, this wasn't. Oh my God, your house is so fancy, Matt. It's not that fancy. It's just we just tried to decorate it nicely. Anytime you have a piano at a house, it makes it look grand. So that is the difference here. But it's really pretty where I live now. I live in a part called San Pedro. Beautiful view of a canyon and the water and the mountains. So I just love. I don't want to leave anymore. Like, I don't want to leave for 2 weeks for Italy because I just want to stay here. And this is just, we have an if you can see the piano right next to these stairs that lead us up here. The kitchen is right there. I'm not going to show the kitchen because I didn't have time to clean it. It's not horrible, but there are a few dishes out there that I'm not going to show you. Who are the contenders for the win before rehearsal start? Vanya is asking. I mean, according to the betting odds, of course, Ukraine is the one to beat, but Italy and Sweden right behind it. And I think that these are definitely reasonable predictions. I have to look at the exact list. Actually, you know what? Why don't we do this together? Let's take a look at the odds because I've got nothing better to do than sharing my screen. Share. But yeah, I'm super excited about because that's where things really change. At that point, right? When the rehearsals kick off, one of the reasons why they probably don't want to go. But as you can see, it shows the first rehearsals. But as you can see, maybe I can zoom in just a tad. There you go. So Ukraine now, a 39% chance of winning. Things change a lot. Italy was not last year. The betting odds favor was like 4th or 5th, and then rehearsals kicking in. They went all the way up. Same happened to Portugal. Same happened to Cyprus in 2018, and people thought Israel would flop, and then she didn't. And then Netherlands dropped a little because of the lackluster rehearsals and technical difficulties, but then, I mean, they did win in the end, so you never know, even though it was close. But yeah, so Ukraine, I'm sorry, and Italy is number 2 with 17%. I think it's always safe to have Italy and Sweden as the favorites because, they always do well. But they also have the quality this year, so I can understand that. UK, now here's the thing. If any Brits are watching, wait before you complain, before when I make the statement. But UK often is doing much better in the betting odds than they end up in the end because a lot of these betting websites, they are British. So Brits often put more money down on their own songs. So there is a little bit a skewed number, but I do think you can make a case. Maybe UK is a little high 4th place, but at the same time, this is the year where the UK certainly leaves an impact. So I think this is actually not an unreasonable number. And one song that I think people sleep on is Spain. And I'm glad to see it's in 5th place because Spain, I'm not comparing it to Eleni Ferreira's Fuego, but there is a market for it. If she brings the kind of energy to the stage, this could do really, really, really well because she sings it well considering how she moves, and that works at Eurovision. Yeah, it's been 4 years since that kind, but that music still works. It's a little bit more like a thing that people really gravitate towards. So Spain is on my radar. So I kind of see the betting odds having a reasonable approach. Not in the ranking, because when the betting odds are not here to predict the ranking, right? Because, for instance, I think that certain songs will do much better than they ranked for, but no one thinks they're going to win, and therefore they're lower in the ranking. Let's take an example here. I don't think Romania will come second to last in the semis, right? Then we all know Romania is not going to win, but I think they're going to do better than that. They're a potential qualifier. So that's what I'm saying. I don't, that kind of stuff. Lithuania, super low, right? But it's quite popular. Lithuania will most likely qualify, but I think all of us agree, or most of us, that it's not going to win. So therefore, that is not necessarily the most accurate way to look at the rankings. But it's just like one way to look at it. But yeah, I keep scrolling up and down. Now, this is better. Like, who will be the top 10, I guess, right? That is a different kind of approach. So if we look at this would be the top 10 according to the betting odds. Australia would come in 10th place, Greece at 9, Netherlands 8, Spain 7, Norway 6, Poland 5th, UK 4, Sweden 3rd, Italy 2nd, and Ukraine wins. So it's a lot of where did I go? A lot of similarities, right? But Spain's a little lower. But that at least gives information. Serbia is a candidate for 11th place in the top 10. France right there. So it's not that different, but it's a better measurement, I think I see. Let's take a look at where the qualifiers are for the semi one. According to the betting odds, these 10 songs will qualify: Ukraine winning, the Netherlands coming 2nd, Norway 3rd, Greece 4th, Albania, Armenia, Portugal, Moldova, Switzerland, and Austria. So that is a very interesting setup there. I'm still surprised that Lithuania is considered a non-qualifier. I thought this is like a for sure country. So out of this list, the 2 songs I think that I have as qualifiers that are not on here. We did a video, by the way, so make sure to check it out. Our entire team kind of predicted, the 5 of us on the call. Lithuania and Denmark, I believe I had as qualifiers. And I didn't think that Switzerland and Portugal will go through. And again, it has nothing to do with my personal taste. I'm just worried that Portugal will pull something what happened in 2018 and 19, where the fans still loved it so much, but it doesn't translate well to the average viewer. So that is my biggest concern for Portugal. And that's why I'm like, right now, I don't have it in there. Again, got to put your personal feelings aside. Switzerland, as much as I like the song, I am worried that it's just not going to work for a lot of people. Although I would be thrilled to see it in there. Bit surprised that Austria is just barely squeezing through. I think the live performances really kind of hurt their chances, like in the shows. Hopefully that'll change come rehearsals. But other than that, yeah, this is a pretty good, fair ranking. We'll see if you're going to have some dark horses. I put Denmark in there also, by the way, as my 10th qualifier, only because Denmark, kind of like what happened 2019 and other years before, 2017, they just have enough support that they'll go through, and often underappreciated by the Eurovision bubble, but then has enough support to make it through. And I feel Ready could fall into the same bucket there as well. So other songs here, there are a lot of songs on my radar. The only two I can actually not see, Bulgaria and Slovenia will probably struggle. Slovenia could be a surprise qualifier, but Bulgaria is the only one where I think no chance. Everyone else, I still have a little bit on my radar. As of right now, again, let's wait for the actual rehearsals. Let's take a look at the second semifinal, see how much I agree with that. Sweden wins, no surprise there. Poland second, Finland third, then Australia, Estonia, Serbia, Belgium, Azerbaijan, Czech Republic, and Cyprus. So out of those, let me see. And then Malta, Romania, San Marino, Montenegro, Israel, Georgia, North Macedonia, and Ireland. Trying to remember. Let me think. I got this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so I actually agree with 9 out of those. At least according to my prediction, the only country that I currently have as a non-qualifier, and fans of the song, I don't want to get your attitude. This is not about me, because if it were up to me, this would be easily in the top 10 because it's a great song, and that is Serbia. I am worried that the Serbian song will not make it for multiple reasons. And again, watch my video. I talk about it in detail. But Serbia song is so specific, right? If they talk about the message and the meaning behind the song, that could often be misconstrued by others watching it, a lady washing their hands. So if they don't bring it to the stage effectively for people to connect with it, it could flop. It doesn't have the greatest running order. It has the number 3 spot. It also doesn't have a very favorable allocation because Serbia often has a very healthy head start, right? A lot of countries vote for them. Switzerland, Austria, the ex-Yugo countries, they only have North Macedonia and Montenegro to rely on. That's not a whole lot. They don't get a great head start as in previous years, so I am worried for Serbia. It's the only country I didn't put in, but I would be thrilled if they make it. The only one that I put in, I still think Israel has a much better shot that people give it credit for, so I put that one in. But we shall see. So this is a very interesting list, and things will get tumbled around as soon as the rehearsals kick off, and that's the beautiful part about it. But yeah, that is what we are. So Kor saying his favorite was 1998. His favorite Eurovision. That was the first Eurovision I watched, by the way, in 1998. Oh God, I'm old. Oh gosh, but I was super young. I was still a teenager, I think. So it was a wonderful, wonderful experience. Liam Allen Lindsay is saying, as a Brit, no offense, Matt. However, the UK I see winning the jury and could be contention for the win overall with those in charge of staging. Marvin Dittmann, Dan Shipton, high chances. I hope you're right, Liam. There's no offense taken if the UK wins. Absolutely deserved. Because I'm not sure if I just posted it this morning. We did the top 10 for our team, mine included. So if you don't want me to spoil it, cover your ears. I have UK in my top 10 as well. I think the UK has a fantastic song, and if that were to win, by all means, go for it. Go for it. I just feel I'm worried that we're going to hype it too much, only because, it's the first time in many years that UK is again in contention of doing well, that we kind of overlook, some of the other aspects of it. But it'll probably, if he does it well, it could do really well with the juries. And as I said, if the televote really comes along, by all means, this could work. I think Island is super underrated. I love the 80s vibe to Brooke's song. What do you think about the Island song, Matt? Kor, I hear what you're saying. I love 80s songs. I love 80s vibes. So I'm always go towards it. Like Denmark last year was one of my favorites, actually. I have a hard time accessing Island because even though it has 80s retro vibe, I just don't care for the whole package as much. It's a little bit too noisy and disjointed, and I find it a little bit too... I melodically, I can't access it as much. I don't find Brooke has been consistent enough vocally. So I'm a little worried about Ireland. Um, yeah. So as of right now, I think Ireland is more an uphill battle for her. But I cannot root against the country because if people like it, therefore it's fine by me. Just because my top 10 may not go through, it's live. If you look at the top 10 from my last year, oh God. Oh my God. My last year's top 10 was a mess, at least compared to how the end result played out. But it wasn't a prediction one, so I guess it's fine. But I love Germany. I love the UK last year, and they both came bottom two with 0 points from the televoters, but their live performances weren't that great, so I can see that. So, and then Italy, I mean, Italy was not in my top 10 last year. So things didn't quite pan out as I wanted to last year. So I'm a little worried about my top 10 this time around. Oh dear. Doesn't have to do with anything, but I'll be a volunteer in the bubble. What? In Palo Alto, so I'm extra excited. Alex, I'll remember you. Tell me when you see me, when we run into each other, say, hi, I'm Alex. I'll remember you from the chat. I love meeting people. And that's the nice thing about even, the only problem is I'm going to be in the press center all the time. So I cannot be out there partying as much. Oh man, that sucks. But I want to meet people as much as possible in Turin. If you're there, let me know. Rather than that met like hardly anyone because, I was either covering myself with a mask, hiding in my room, or hiding in the press center. But this year will be a little different. So that is exciting. Let's do a few more questions because this is a very cash kind of setup, right? And the next few days will be really busy for us. And then next Saturday will be our next live stream, by the way. And it will be maybe you can do one before. Maybe you can do one on Friday. We'll see. I'll see what we can do. But we should do a meeting for the press and fans. I will be there starting Saturday working like Melanie. Ibrahim, that is great. I need to contact Melanie and let her know you're in charge of figuring out meeting people because, I won't be there until Monday, but I can definitely eat. I need to eat as well, but I need to meet people on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Like the first week, the evenings are mostly open, right? So, and Sunday is a day off, basically. Well, not a day off, but the press center is closed. So I can meet so many people that I'm just so excited. I want to meet people. It's been so long. It's been 3 years. Yes, we had Eurovision last year, but it was very, very different. I met Roy, I met Melanie, I met Boris, and that's it. And the folks in the press center, of course, but I didn't meet anybody else. And it sucked. It sucked. I couldn't even say hi to a lot of my friends. Well, I did, but yeah, you're supposed to be 6 feet away. I don't know exactly what the rules are this time around, but hey, I'm pretty sure it's going to be different. Matt, if Death of Us had won in Norway, would people be hyping Cornelia so much? So, I think Cornelia would still be very popular. I think Death of Us, to me, emotionally, I can access even more. So it's personally, I would prefer it, but I can see the comparison there having like the same fan base. And don't get me wrong, it sounded like I picked on Cornelia's song because I really like Cornelia's song actually. Even though it's not in my personal top 10, it may be my number 11 or like somewhere higher up there because it's a beautiful song. I just, I cannot access it emotionally as much as other because it's a little bit too by the book and by the numbers, but it's pretty. Matt, as an 80s baby born in the American state of California, where you are right now, stay away from the vibe. What vibe? Did I say something that make you clarify that, Faith Thomas? In California, where you are now, stay away from the vibe. Like the California vibe, or what are we talking about? You're going to have more time than normal to meet fans, which is exciting in itself, right? Liefer, I don't know if that is accurate, actually. The first few days, maybe, because there's less coverage. But after that, I may even less time because I'm the only one in the press center. So I'll be running around like a chicken with its head cut off, that kind of thing. I don't know yet. It's going to be just such a different and unique experience. I hope so. But I will make myself available. I can sleep when I'm back home, right? at least in the afternoon and in between. Yeah, because in the past we did cover the family shows, but with the limited people we have available, we may not even do much on those. So then we'll have more time. I will not see any of the live shows, but I will be in the press center and I can meet people even while they're waiting in line and all of that stuff. So if you go to one of the afternoon shows in particular, let me know. Do you think Romania will qualify? Vlad is saying. So here's the thing. My initial instinct said no. But with the right staging, the right energy, this could be the kind of song people want. Fun, unapologetic, simple in some ways, right? It's not the most sophisticated song ever written, but I can see a certain predictability and simplicity of the song, but the catchiness could carry it. And I'm giving it more of a say na 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 kind of category there. So people could absolutely click with it and just looking for that fun little song that is catchy and works. It'll probably have an uphill battle with the juries, but it could squeeze through. So even though I have it as a no, I'm watching you, Romania. I'm watching you do a great staging, do a great performance, which was kind of like a downfall in the recent years. And you may be back in my top 10 prediction. That is what I'm hoping for. Do you think Azerbaijan is getting severely underrated? Yes. Let me go back to the slow it up. Azerbaijan is currently considered, though, as a qualifier. So I don't know if that's underrated. That is, I think, a fair place. Azerbaijan usually does this thing where they come like between 8th and 10th place in, well, usually between 8th and 11th place in the semis, right? And then just does kind of meh, okay, in the show, although they did well in 2019, rightfully so. But they usually squeeze through. So I don't know if them squeezing through is considered underrated or like overlooked. If you're saying the top 10 candidate, I don't see that happening. I think the song with stronger ballads out there, I think could drown out there a little bit. But I have it as a qualifier as well. I have it as a qualifier as well. My team overruled me, by the way, so that kind of sucked. Matt, have you started practicing your Italian in anticipation of your stay in Turin? Oh my God. No. Oh God. I was thinking about that yesterday, the day before. I'm like, I don't know any Italian except for the cliche things that everyone knows, right? I could not communicate to save my life in Italy. And I don't know how well versed Turinians, is that the right word? Turinians are in English. Maybe they speak German. Speak German. So I need to learn a few things because I usually do, just the customs and the politeness. I don't want to. I always learn the little things like, excuse me, do you speak English? I don't want to just walk up to someone and speak English, right? You want to have the courtesy and approach them and say, I almost said por favor, whatever. Italian. Do you speak English? So that kind of stuff, the greetings, hello. I mean, I know, thank you. But just a few things, where the bathrooms, just the touristy stuff that I need to learn. But I will not be able to go through a very in-depth session there. So I will practice this week and maybe on my flight as well. Just look up the little things here and there. But I'm hoping they speak English. Wow. It was nice in going to the Netherlands because everybody speaks English. I still ask politely if you speak English because, manners. I do have manners. It's one of the few things. I'm not talented. I'm not funny. I'm not skilled in anything, but I do have manners. That is usually one thing I feel strongly about. So, and Carr is asking how many people from the team will be at the annual reacting live to the qualifiers results announcement. And Carr, that is the problem. We don't have people on site. It's only me. So it's only going to be me reacting. We could do a live stream, but there's always a slight delay, right? Or maybe with the live But since I'm the only person there, as of right now, I'm going to be the only on-site person. I haven't gotten to the reaction videos yet. So it's just going to be different. Yeah. I was referring to the song selection of one of the island's entry, but while in California, you have to visit this restaurant called Roscoe's Chicken. Oh, please, Faith Thomas. Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. Everyone knows about Roscoe's. We had one. Well, I just moved a couple of months ago, but my old place, it was like 5 minutes from where I lived. So yes, of course I know Roscoe's. Very, very good food. I'm trying to stay away from fried food, but I haven't been there in years. But yeah, of course I know Roscoe's. Which song do you think could benefit most from the way the Turin stage looks like? It looks amazing. Okay, this is a very politically correct answer, but it's because it sounds politically correct, because it is true. Everyone. I think the Italian stage, from what I have seen, is so versatile and creative that any country can make it work and benefit from the staging. And that is the good part. Give every country an even playing field, right? Because some countries have more money than others. They can bring props. Here, they can just often heavily rely on some of the effects, and that is wonderful. Still expensive, right? You still have to work within your budget. But I think in terms of potential, every country can really make it work. It's not like where we had the stage in Lisbon that was very retro, back to basics. This one is a little bit more high tech. And I need to see it, but I think, and it's my honest answer, I really think everyone will benefit from it. Excuse me, I'm thirsty. Which songs do you think could be? Oh, that's a question I just read. Do you think some will suffer because there's no satellite small stage? No, I don't necessarily think satellite small stage is needed. The performances I think are best suited for like the small stage is like a ballad, kind of like what Salvador Sobral did. But there are other ways to make that happen, because you can be on the big stage and just not face the audience, but face the other way, and you can see the audience behind you. So you can be creative like that. So I don't necessarily think there's going to be a disadvantage for that reason. Thomas is asking, hi, Matt. Hi. Do you consider ASC a success right now? Do you think from what you've seen, it has potential to become a big event in the US? Hi from a French fan. Have a good day. Oh, France, my favorite country. No, I mean, one of my favorite countries. But I'll take Paris. Not Paris, the country of Paris. I'm an American. I can't be stupid. I meant the country of France. Always a big love for it. I always want to go on vacation there. But the point is, in terms of success, I think I've only seen the first 2 episodes. I need to catch up on the rest. I think it has potential. And it's very difficult. I'm not sure if you feel the same way, those who have watched it, to take yourself away from this Eurovision mindset about, the backup track is too loud. You can even hear the voices. It upsets me. Oh, there's so many people on stage. That upsets me. It's just like, my Eurovision nature goes like, that's not what I want. But this is not Eurovision, right? So I do think it has all the potential to be a success. I think overall, I like what they're doing, considering that they have to adjust it to an American audience. In terms of numbers, I cannot answer. Again, I would need to look up where they at, or Connor can even comment on that. I do think I like the effort. I do like what they put forward. I like the diverse sounds that they put forward, and still have, some authentic country music that often is very popular in certain parts of the country, but still represent a more diverse and international audience and people. Because, not to go too political, but there's plenty of things you can talk about America. You can talk shit about it, myself included, right? Politically. But one thing, depending on where you live, of course, in the US, but overall, it's a great big melting pot. Such a diverse country, especially when you live in states like Florida or California, and even other places, the East Coast. It's so diverse. And the fact that they're being represented in that style of music is wonderful. And that is what they did really, really well. I'm glad it's not just, white, pretty young boy playing the guitar, even though we have plenty of that as well. but it's a lot more, diverse. So I'm hopeful. That's my answer. I agree with you on this year's stage, Kala saying, but which country do you think benefited the most from the stage in Rotterdam? I think Ukraine. I think Ukraine benefited just from the staging overall because they brought a kick-ass staging. I'm trying to think here. Gosh, I feel like I forgot all of the songs from last year because there was so much going. Iceland benefited the most, even though they weren't there live in the end. They did the staging, and I think the colorfulness and the entertainment value that the song brought, all the different portions of the song, just worked so well. It worked so well. I think it did really set out what it came out and did really well on that. So I think Iceland, even though they weren't there live in the end, the rehearsals alone showed us how much they added. So I would say Iceland, just to kind of give you a different perspective. Julie saying, did you say that your team has one online accreditation? If so, who on the team has it? So ESC United was given one on-site and one online accreditation, but we are collaborating with another team member of ESC United, Connor, who has also his own American podcast, who also has online access. So we're all going to come together and have additional access. So we have like 3 or 4 people with online access. I'm the only one that's going to be in the press center. Sean will arrive in what's the city called? Turin. I almost said Rotterdam. In Turin on Friday, but it's a Friday during the second round of rehearsal. So he won't be there only for 9 days or so, like a little bit over a week. Then Melanie and Roy will also join us via online press center. They also will be in Turin. So that is what's going to happen. And people keep asking me, where is Sean? So Sean was supposed to be in all the most recent videos, but that dude got sick. I had to cancel all the videos. I'm like, rude. But I get it, I guess. If you're sick, you're sick. So yeah, that's why I couldn't make the last few videos. But trust me, he is there. And his schedule often clashes, but just know he's working behind the scenes a lot. So he just doesn't have as much time to be on camera during certain times, but he'll do what he can. Matt, do you know if P5 online accredited in place in Turin can go to the turquoise carpet? My guess is no, Ibrahim. Usually, online red carpet access is only reserved for on-site folks. Because you're not, when I say you're not supposed to be in Turin, of course you can travel to Turin as you see fit, but in terms of Eurovision access, that's usually not included in the on-site access. I'm not planning on being there because it's just not fun. And I see very little value to my readers and followers to be there because I don't like doing interviews at the red carpet. Hate it. It was beautiful in 2019 because all these acts came up to me and recognized me and said how much they love me. And I'm like, who doesn't like that? Tamta came up to me. Who else came up to me? Oh, there were so many of them who recognized. It was wonderful. I could get used to it. But no, so I just hate this whole like yelling at delegations, please come to me, talk to me. But then they just look, where's the BBC? I just want to talk to them. Exposure. And I hate this fighting and yelling. It's just not who I am. So, and the interviews are like maybe 1 minute long. And if that, so I find very little value in that and enjoyment. So I probably will not be there unless. Last year I was given like a booth, but I couldn't make it because of COVID. But yeah. I'm glad that the UK have promoted Samsung across most Europe. I think the last time the UK did this was in 2011 and we placed 11th. Matt, do you think that Samsung will place higher? As of right now, I will say yes. Right now, I have the UK as a top 10 contender based on my predictions. And that, of course, if they flop, they may go down, but they have the potential to be higher. I think just the UK has a really solid, good, fantastic song this year. Keep sounding like a broken record, but I truly believe that. I want to know if Sean is proud of Sam Ryder. So I haven't asked Sean directly. I think he's a little wary about it. I think he likes it, but I don't think he's as big of a fan. But that's just my perception from what I heard him say. I could be wrong. So I don't think he believes it's going to go as high as some people believe it will. But I cannot really speak on his behalf, but that just was my observation. And maybe I'm throwing him under the bus here. That's fine. It's Sean. He can take it. Now, I think he's maybe I'm a lot skeptical, and I don't blame him because, I mean, I remember, I know it's been 12 years now. Gosh, it's been 12 years since Germany won, but I remember Germany being one of the fan favorites in 2010, and then people saying it's going to win. I'm like, you guys are high. You are on drugs thinking that Germany will win. You crazy. And then they won. So it's hard to overcome this years and years of bad results and negativity and all of that stuff, and then actually become a pure contender. So you don't want to let down your guard, and you almost lose faith in it. So I get it. I get it. But yeah, that's where do you think Spain will land? I don't think she'll be as high as some people think, but she'll definitely do well enough. MB, it comes down to the energy. Spain relies heavily on a great performer that is charismatic and powerful and can keep a voice, but really, really make it a fun performance that people will gravitate towards. And yes, it's not always fair to bring Eleni Ferreira into this because she did not invent this kind of music. She just executed it oh so well, right? So if Spain, Chanel, brings something similar, but with her own twist and her own style into it, this could go really, really far. Once rehearsals kick off, she could become a contender. I think she has the potential to become a contender. Just like many other songs, though, it could flop. But just seeing Chanel, she has been consistent. She's been so good. I have her as a likely top 10 at this point, and this could go further, which is crazy. Guys, I think I have 4 of the Big 5 as the top 10 right now. Wouldn't that be crazy? Wouldn't that be insane if all 4, France, UK, Spain, and Italy, finish in the top 10? Wow. Poor Germany. Poor Germany. But got nobody to blame but themselves. And not themselves in terms of like the Germans, because they had no really choice about what happened, but the people in charge. Do you think Subwoofer have any jury redeeming qualities or no hope for jury points? I think it has qualities. Juries sometimes go for the fun factor. We've seen it before. It'll certainly heavily rely on the televote to make up for some of those discrepancies, I guess. I don't think they're going to do... They have the potential to end up kind of like where Kino ended up, and then really get catapulted by the televote. So I see Subwoofer as of right now, like a 7th place overall. But maybe if they really work with the juries, it could go further. Because I thought actually Shum, Ukraine, would do worse with the juries because they were like 9th or 10th with the juries, which made some people say, well, it wasn't good. I thought they could potentially be like 14th, 15th with the juries and then even not go far. I always knew they would do really well in the televote. So sometimes they do really well, certain songs that you don't expect. And I think that could go really far. Hey, Matt, what kind of staging do you think would complement Greece's song the most? I'm not really good at envisioning performances, right? So I'm probably the last one to ask. Once I see it, I can give you more of my insight, but I don't have that vision of this is what it should look like. They should have a chicken on there and then whatever. Please don't have a chicken on there. Please don't. Although Greece is known for going a little bit, green screen, blue hand, trampoline, they just throw what they can at us. So I know whatever it is, it has to be subtle, it has to be classy, it has to be tasteful. Because Greece song, a very pretty song, a very contemporary song that has all the recipes, or not the recipes, all the ingredients to go far, they need to make sure to highlight that and not distract. You can make a case that Greece's staging was a little bit distracting last year. This year, they need to come up with something really pretty. At least make it appear being simplistic, even though you can have the most sophisticated, beautiful backdrop, lighting. You need to find that ground without overshadowing the performance, because Amanda can sing really well. It's an emotional song, so don't go crazy. Don't go crazy. That's all I can say. Now, in terms of what that looks visually, I don't know. Sam Ryder is a TikTok star. Lots of Sam Ryder questions. Do you think that will boost the UK's chances due to TikTok being partnered with Eurovision this year? Mm, 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 mm. Here's my very educated answer. I don't know. I still don't think that the average Eurovision fan and viewer are on TikTok. I think what they are trying to do is bring new fans to the contest. So if he is able to bring all of these folks that are on his TikTok to watch Eurovision, vote for him, then yes. But just being on TikTok, it may not be enough because they may follow Sam Ryder, but they're not interested enough to actually go vote and pay to vote, right? So I am not certain on this that TikTok alone will bring more votes. It may bring more exposure more than anything. That would be my thing. Matt, do you think that the use of backing vocals now favors more dancers for all acts as part of the staging? Oh, Stephen, no, don't bring up that question. Why? Oh, you shouldn't have brought up that question. You open a can of worms, and mad, angry. I hate the backtracks. Call me old fashioned, but this was the last piece of what set the contest apart was the live vocals. And now that this is down the drain, now we have they can just cover it. I mean, yes, they had backup vocalists before to cover it up, but it added a different layer. And this excuse was, well, COVID and people get sick. We can't have them all, so we need people who give the ability, blah, blah, blah. Sure. So they used all the backtracks and still brought 5 dancers. You still have the same amount of people on stage. Dumb. And now here we are, oh yeah, this is good. Because there were a lot of delegations who actually wanted that because it's cheaper, not having to hire actual singers and all of that stuff, which take more jobs away from people. Singers already have a hard time getting any sort of exposure. Now they don't even get to do this anymore. First they take them off stage, then they're going to get rid of them completely. It's ridiculous. And yes, some people will like it. It makes us make more slick on stuff, but I will not change my mind. So don't give me good reasons why this is a good idea, because I almost said the other F word. Hate it. Now ask me how I really feel about it. So, this was really just the most cash live stream we've ever had. Carl is asking, by the way, why does the EBU avoid using online voting? And when you think they will start using it like JESC in multiple national finals? My guess is it's money. My guess it's financial, because the broadcasters, they all make money of people voting, right? So unless they have another income source, they may keep that. Hoping that I like the junior setup, actually, because you get to vote for 3 songs, right? 3 songs? And you cannot just vote 3 times for the same one. So it'll make friendly, neighborly voting a whole lot more difficult, which I would love to see. At least in theory, maybe I could be wrong. So, but I really, really like you all. Anyways, thank you for watching this. I know it took way longer than I thought, but this was a good dialogue. I have so much work to do in my team to prepare for Eurovision, and I hope you'll make sure to follow us here on Facebook, on Twitter, to stay up to date with what's going on. And it's going to be an interesting week. You'll see a lot from us, right? Okay. So I will see you all later. Thank you. Have a good day. Have a good night. Have a good whatever. I'm moving on. Bye.